We will proceed. Item B, Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Okay. Item C, consent agenda. What's the wishes of the board?
Motion to approve is presented, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Motion passes. Okay, item D is public comment. We're asking for public comment of anything other that's on the agenda. So if anybody in the public has anything to bring forth to us, you may stand. Any public comment? Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item E, department heads, facilities.
Is for changing the signage at County Highway as part of the readdressing that's going on in the county. We need to change the address at County Highway as part of that project. You'll see the pictures there. And part of it, since we're doing that, we'll fix the signage out there. Paint the letters on the Williams County Highway Department to red so they stand out. People can see them from the highway. Change Williston Vector Control. We'll get rid of Williston and put our logo in there. So it'll say our Williams County logo, Vector Control District. And part of that is we've changed some siding, lights. That's all part of that project.
Okay,
But since everybody else has a little bit of pain, I think we need to do our part and fix our sign, or our address too, is the premise behind it.
all right, what's the wishes of the board?
We looking for a motion to do that?
Yeah, a motion to approve the,
Oh, yeah, I would make that motion.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the highway signage work for County Highway. Any discussion? How long will it take for them to complete this?
Once they get started, probably not long, but they'll have to order siding. You know, once we get this signed and back to J. Dunn, then we'll have to order siding. Electrician left, and we're gonna move the lights up, so the whole, that the Williams County would be illuminated, so part of it's to move the lights up, plug some holes. It'll be, I would guess by the end of fall, it'll be done. I'm sure they're 6 weeks out, 8 weeks out on just the steel siding.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Beth, roll call vote, please.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes,
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Looks like item 2, Sheriff's Department.
Morning, Commissioners. So I have two applications that we want to submit to the Public Safety Grant Committee at tomorrow's meeting. The first one of these is going to be for a replacement and upgrade to our current TASER system. So kind of what we're seeing in law enforcement, and it may be the same in the public safety realm in general. Instead of purchasing items directly, such as this, we're going into almost subscription type of settings with most of these things. So Currently, our X26P taser is being phased out. They really don't even service them anymore. The next item that's going to be coming up is going to be what's referred to as an X10. This has the ability to shoot multiple taser probes, so they should be a little bit more reliable than what we've seen with single cartridge use of our current taser system. With that, there are two options for this program, the subscription service with Taser. They have a 5-year option and a 10-year option. My recommendation would be that we would move forward with the 10-year option, and we have a substantial amount of savings. I think there's close to what they indicate in the paperwork anyway, is around $300,000 in savings over that 10-year period. And I don't know how well you can maybe see the documents and what you received. The print is very small, but there are also some training tools and stuff that come with that, virtual reality training pieces. They supply all of the tasers if there's damage or maintenance needs to them, as well as taser cartridges, training supplies. So it's a very comprehensive 10-year program. That would be my recommendation to move forward with this program. So I am seeking approval from the board and signature from apparently vice chair today, if possible. Total dollar amount for this 10-year program is $811,323.10.
So because it's a 10-year, that's divided by 10? So
Correct.
annual fee of $80,000-ish?
Correct. Yes.
So do we, I mean, are they gonna be obsolete by then, or?
Well,
you know, like
with the
10 years, I
subscription
mean,
piece, I think some of the idea behind it is to be able to future-proof those things instead of just hitting an end of life like we are with the X26. So if we have a capital plan for this type of program moving forward, you know, within, I'd say, the 5-year mark, we start looking at, again, what do we do at the end of that 10-year piece? And I would assume that they're gonna continue that same type of program where you re-sign the contract for the additional years, whatever they may be, with whatever is the newest product at that time.
So do you pay them that 811 right away, or is it literally a bill, $81,000 each?
The intent from what we're doing, I think, is to try to pay it as that one piece. I can't recall, Captain, do you recall, is there an option for yearly?
Yeah, there is an option to pay yearly. They just break it down based on each year, so that 811 divided by 10 for each year. But the intent is just purchase it up front and have that done with, so you can just then plan for the future.
Okay, any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any additional discussion? Discussion, roll call vote, please.
Is this also to authorize the vice chair to sign?
Yes, and just for the teaser request, I am assuming. Yeah.
Right. Bo,
Yes,
David,
Yes.
Barry,
yes.
Corey,
Yes.
okay, motion passes. Motorola request?
Yes, so the second request is gonna be for upgrade to our current in-car camera system, body camera system, and interview room system. Previously, we had been running a Panasonic system within all of those settings. It has been less than ideal with the company the third-party vendor that we have to work with for Panasonic. We've had multiple issues, and we're, again, nearing end of life for all of those items. So instead of moving forward with Panasonic, we would prefer to move forward with a different system. We did reach out to a number of different vendors, and ultimately, it appears that the Motorola system is going to be probably the best for our needs. It's also a system that's being used within our area. I believe the police department, as well as Wofford City and I believe McKenzie County as well, are using this system. So Our local vendors that do the install pieces have been working with these. Our IT department has been working with these. So we did work with IT when coming to this decision as well. And this is also going to be moving from a server-based system, which our current system is set up that way, and this is going to be going to a cloud-based system. So we should have some ease of use, I think, in that way. Some of the challenges that we've seen in our in-car camera systems and uploading video. So when you start doing video and audio together, especially multiple cameras, there's large volumes of data that have to be stored, and getting those to upload has been a major challenge. I think going to this cloud-based system and adding in what's referred to as cradle points within the cars, we should be able to do uploads to the cloud from out in the vehicles in the county, as long as they have air card service from their cameras. So there should be some usefulness there where people aren't having to drive into Williston and let their car sit what ends up being substantial amounts of time just to upload video. This particular system has a 5-year plan to it, and very similar in that TASER piece where they're kind of moving to a subscription-based type of service as well, attempting to try to future-proof those items as they come out with new items. That's what we would receive during this period. So my recommendation would be to move forward with this program on the 5-year piece. Looking for approval for that with the chairman's signature as well. Total cost for this upgrade of this program would be $756,010.74.
Would it be cheaper to get people to stop breaking the law?
If you could figure that out, yes, that would be great.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
I would make a motion to approve the Motorola request and authorize the vice chair to sign.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve the Motorola request and authorize vice chair to sign. Is there any discussion? Discussion. Roll call vote, please, Beth.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes. Thank you, sir.
You want to just have them sign now or give them to you?
That way I can get copies and I'll send them. Then somebody can come and get them later.
Yep, I can come and grab them later.
Okay, thanks, Vee.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. All right, Helen,
Question before you go on. Did we miss our opportunity to talk about the?
no, sorry. No, you're part of Helen's presentation. She comes up, so, thank you.
I'll just start out over here. Wow, hot mic. And then we can let the folks who are here to talk about address changes be at the center. So in your packet, I think you have the information that shows the 15 addresses that we propose for correction. So on the 20-something of June, we sent out letters to all of the affected property owners. And then I emailed out that same information to the township clerks in the week that followed. I gave you a handout before the meeting, which just highlighted for you the comments that I have gotten. I did talk to, as you can see, the Hurleys, the Larsons. I believe the Troutmans talked to Commissioner Anderson, and I got an email from Cindy Brevik. So if they aren't here, I told all of them who I had spoken to that I would represent their thoughts here on their behalf. But maybe if there's people here who want to speak for themselves, we could let that happen. In the back, we do have the ability to post up the picture, the illustration that shows how that address change would look or why it's happening. And so Haley will be able to find those for us based on just the structure number. They're in numerical order back there.
Okay,
I guess maybe I'll just say one thing. So the county is responsible for placing addresses in all of the non-organized cities. And of course, it starts with foundationally, it's to make sure that addresses are in a systematic, organized way, and that first responders are able to get to locations. Sometimes signage today is a little less critical because our first responders do have the ability, just like we all do, to have a, let's call it a Google Map type function where there's a dot and you can make your way there. But certainly our responsibility is still to make sure that addresses conform to the standard system and allow people who don't have a dot to follow to be able to get there. There's also just normal citizen wayfinding and package and mail delivery as well, based on addresses.
Okay. If you have address concerns one at a time, come up and approach the podium and then state your name for the record, please. And your address, I guess, your current address.
My name is Kent Orb. My current address is 13876 57th Street Northwest. We've been there for 45 years now. And when they put the truck bypass there, that's been, I believe, 9 years ago. As far as packages delivering, after 9 years, they finally are delivering to our address. The police know how to get there. We've had an alarm accidentally set off in our house, and they were there. We have packages delivered from Iowa, New York City. They drive right up to the house, so there's not a problem with people finding the place. The second thing is, I don't think anybody's taking into consideration the cost to the addressee, that it's gonna take. All of the legal records have to be changed. You know, with us, it's Social Security, that's all gotta be changed, which is an act of Congress. We've got the attorney's fees that are gonna have to be paid for changing our wills and things like that. And I don't think any of that's been considered, and not only the hassle. So I guess first question I would have is, this commission gonna pay for our legal fees to have all this stuff done?
Well, I mean, the answer is no, but we have talked about it, yes, and that's why we're addressing all this individually, so.
I think I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm sure a lot of other people that have been in their addresses for a long time. It's like turning your life upside down. For what reason? To confirm or be on the right address according to the map or the city or the county, or it makes no sense to me. And I'm totally against it because for all those reasons. I mean, if it was gonna all be taken care of, all the legal stuff and whatnot, yeah, change the address, but that's not the way it works. You know, we have deliveries of, you know, we're like probably a lot of other people. We shop online sometimes and they deliver that. We have, you know, specials. A good example is my medication through Medicare. That took me 3 weeks to get squared away. It's a mail order. And in fact, I haven't got my first order yet, so that'll all have to be changed again. You know, it's not just to change the address and forget it. Not for us, anyway. I guess that's about all I have to say.
Okay. So, I mean, how do you want to address them all at one time? Yeah, okay. Thank you.
My name is Tim Troutman. My address is 14301 52nd Street Northwest. As you can see, some of the concerns that were in the letter to us was one of them was the extension of 143rd. 143rd, first off, does not go past 52nd Street. Anything north of 52nd Street, myself or my neighbors have maintained and taken care of. Second was safety. like Mr. Horb said there, safety is not a concern to get to my house. I promise you, the sheriff knows where I live, the first responders know where I live, the fire department knows my address. If we look at how my property sets, I have the 40 acres on the northwest corner of 52nd and 143rd. That house has been there, as far as I know, since the mid-'80s. 52nd Street came all the way over, and that was the access to the house to go north on what is considered a section line, but the township has deemed that as a closed section. So that is technically private road going north off of 52nd Street that leads to our house. Like he said, the financial burden, let alone the time to change our address, we have a few vehicles, more than one. I mean, I run a welding company. I have, farm trucks that we all have to tag and license and title. And as your sheriff department and highway patrol will let you know that you have, I want to say it's 30 days to change all that, as well as your driver's license. Like you said, the title company, the time that it takes to handle all that is something that I don't deem is necessary for where my place is at. I'm not in a subdivision that somebody built at midnight and said, oh, here, this is how it's gonna go. My place has been there, it's been established, and the way my property sits on the corner, I do not deem that there's a reason to change my address to the 143rd Avenue Northwest address is what's being suggested in the letter.
Okay, thank you. David, do you have a question?
He mentioned that the township deemed that road closed. Does the township have an authority to close section lines?
Yeah, they don't now, but a while ago, under state law, the township did have the right to close section lines, but it really should have been documented, so, I mean, unless there's something on record or minutes of the township, we don't really know if it's closed or not, so.
It is not documented?
I don't know if it is or not, yeah.
Do you know, do you know if that road is closed, 143rd township has it closed?
It's not on our miler. We're not recognized, not on our miler.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, coming up.
My name is Brian Larson. Our address 14293 52nd Street. I'm adjacent from Tim. A corner lot. 14 years ago when we put the house in, Al Grothe was surveyor. And when Al came out, he said, here's what your address is gonna be. I said, Al, we're gonna put our approach going west, the driveway going west. He goes, doesn't matter, Brian, that's what it's gonna be. So that's what it has been. Touting Helen's being able to find us. It's an accurate address. You put it in Google Maps, the pin drop, right on the house. Deputies know how to find it. Like I said, the 143rd has not been formally extended north of 52nd, as she claims. Our mail delivery, UPS, FedEx, everything works just fine. Nor they know where to find us. The Jay Heller's address was changed. He's a half mile north of us. He can't get UPS. He can't get FedEx deliveries right now. He doesn't know. I mean, just because same deal. Someone decided that he needed to change his address. If you're going to cherry pick addresses, you go east on 52nd, a half mile. You got Earl Bosty and Johnny Hoffman. Their approaches both go to a private road that's not recognized. Their address does not come onto 52nd. They have a 52nd address for stated, but I agree with Kent and Tim. The time involved, the money it's just a waste of time for us. Why should we have to go through this? I mean, it's, like I said, it's unnecessary, you know? If there's, I understand that if there's addresses that were made up names, that kind of stuff, but like I said, our address comes right to where you put it in as a pin drop. It shows right, it brings you right to our house, so, thank you.
Okay, anybody else for address?
Dana Larson, 14293 52nd Street Northwest. I just have to say that I think there's plenty of more things you guys need to deal with and some, I don't know, I talked to Helen and I was blaming you guys for coming up with this. She was pretty much agreeing with me. And it was her that did it. 143rd never existed until Wayne Aberly and Abe Owen decided to, you know, put in a road there, 143rd, without any permission from commissioners. You know, one of the illegal things that have been done in this county. So we have always been 52nd Street. I will always stay 52nd Street. If you want me to build a little road to the south of my house, I'll build a road. That will be my little driveway. But for you guys to mess up other people's lives day after day after day is getting a little old. This has been our address. This has been our neighbor's address. Enough's enough. Leave it as is. You got bigger fish to fry than this. Everybody knows where we're at. And enough. I mean, I will fight this because there's no reason for us to have to go through all this, spend all this money because somebody got bored and wanted to mess up our lives. Simple as that. You want a road to the west? I'll put a road on the west or on the south, if that'll make you happy. But as of now, my address will stay, and I don't know how you guys can go ahead and just call a post office and cancel us out. If this was happening to you guys, you can bet your life that you wouldn't allow it to happen. Got any questions for me? No? Thank you.
Okay. How would you like to proceed? I guess one of the recommendations to me was that the addresses stay the same on the property unless their property changes hands. So if they, for some reason, ever sell it, the new property owner could have it changed, or would have it changed, I guess, at that time. So I thought that would be something that would be up for discussion.
I've got another question.
Go ahead and approach the mic, please.
For my wife and myself, we're getting a little older, and someday our son will have the properties, and I don't think he should have to go through the finances to have to change the address when he ends up with the property when we're gone. You know, something like that, it's still a great expense. All the attorneys, the legal documents, you know, all that stuff's gonna have to be changed, and I think that's an undue burden onto anybody. That's what I have to say about that.
Thank you.
I actually kind of like that idea, Bo. Because these were some of the first things that I thought of is the expense and then the things that we're gonna have to make people do. And to me, it's probably not even, I mean, it's the time. Because I mean, you gotta change all, I mean, you know what your farm looks like, because mine's the same way with trucks and pickups, and that's gonna take some time. So I do like that idea. As far as, you know, somebody inheriting it or that, there's gonna be stuff that has to be done there also, whether you need to change the address or not, but I don't disagree. I kinda like that idea. Keep it as is until it changes hands.
Okay.
Is there some, federal, state, some law that says we can't do that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, that's good, not that we,
So Commissioner Hanson, if we choose to go that route, which ones are we changing? Are we changing all 15 of them, or are we gonna change just the ones that appeared for us today?
I think we make it a hard and fast rule across the board. Yeah, and I know, and I'm just saying, you know, unless somebody says, no, I want mine changed, it's when it changes hands. I don't know, it is a big expense to be able to change all these things, and
Well, when you speak of hard and fast, I guess this commission has to make a decision either way, in my opinion. They either do it or we don't do it, so, just my opinion.
okay, then we don't do it.
No, what I'm saying is, we can't, in my opinion, if we're gonna not change them, I believe that we don't change any of the 15. We can't, we don't piecemeal, you know, two.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
We're doing a good thing, David, having an argument that we're both on the same page.
No argument here, my friend. It's just a matter of a discussion and clarification.
I would agree with that, because when this first come up, you know, it's like, ooh, this is a touchy topic, and, I mean, if there is no real issue, I mean, you know, clearly, you know, the emergency services people can find these places. I know what they're talking about. When we moved 10 years ago, my wife had ordered stuff off online, and you get 3 shots. After that, they tell you that, no, you don't get it. You know, it is a real, it's a pain. So I would agree with Corey.
So the concern from staff would be that when we identify that an address is wrong, that we have some obligation to try and bring that into the correct addressing format. Would you think that the change of procedure then is that we, I guess, notify the property owner that we're aware of a need for correction? We do have a process by which people can come in and say, you know, something's off with my address, and we can administratively then correct that. Are you proposing we pivot a little bit more to use that kind of a process? We could let them know that we are aware that there's an issue with their address.
Yeah, I don't see any issue with that, and if somebody wants to change it to fix it, if it is an issue with them, there would be a process to be able to do that.
There's an example here today where a road was actually created, and so this property is going through the process to have a different address, but the property owner knows that, and in fact named the road something they want to use.
Would you like that in the motion?
I think what I'll need to do is update the rural addressing plan, and I'll have to, you know, of course, it's a legal document, it's been reviewed by the attorneys, and so I'll need to update the rural addressing plan to reflect what I'll take as direction from the board today, and then I'll bring that rural addressing plan back to you for approval. So that would be your opportunity to review and make sure that we're following your direction.
Okay, does anybody have a motion to proceed on?
I would make a motion that these proposed address changes will not take effect until there is a change of ownership to the property. Does that make sense? Everybody good with that?
Is there a second?
Would second.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? Discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you guys for coming in.
I'm going to move to the hands-free mic. All right. Beth, I gave you copies of both these, didn't I? Yeah. All right, position report next. Does that seem okay? All right, so we have two positions that we're seeking your approval for. Facilities Department has a maintenance technician who is retiring, actually, and the Sheriff's Office has a Sheriff's Deputy opening. So permission to fill those two, please.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Great, thank you. We are excited. We were able to hire a new staff engineer, and so we're excited about that. Starts August 1st, so that's right around the corner. Staff engineer. And then I just point out that in the board positions list, we do right now have 2 weed board positions open, and I think the planning and zoning one is listed as well. And then a third seat, or I guess a fourth, but a second planning and zoning seat will open up in a little later in the fall. So if you run into people who want to serve, know that those opportunities are available. Planning and zoning seats are in districts, or those are, but the weed board are at large. And then I have one add-on item, and that is the language assistance services policy. So this is something that we already do if we encounter someone who's trying to engage with some kind of county function and they have limited English proficiency. We do have what really ends up to be a service that we can call, get someone who's a trained interpreter or translator on the phone who can work through whatever our employees are trying to do. But one of our departments, and maybe 2, needs an official policy that they can show for grant and other purposes. And so we created this policy based on what we're doing, but also based on what some other agencies have in place. So I need your official approval so that our departments can in fact have this in writing and know that it's official.
Okay, motion to that effect?
I would make that motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? Discussion, roll call vote, please.
Barry,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Okay. Anything else for us, Helen?
That's it.
All right, thank you. All right, brings us to item G, adjournment. Thank you